Sally Forth Paladins, and welcome back to another episode of Starfleet Command. I'm Past Spot. I'm Fleet Admiral Tarek of the battleship HMS Insouciant as we continue our campaign against what remains of the Lyran Star Empire. And as you can see, the Lyrans have been nearly knocked off this map. They have no more planets. They have maybe one or two more stations, and it's time for us to continue to buzzsaw our way through the entirety of the Lyran Star Empire. So without further ado, let us set out further into space to continue bashing down on them. And we're going to hit another convoy raid. I think we've been hitting a few of these, haven't we? Wait, no, those were Enigma missions that we took on the last time. So we're going to be going after what is clearly an attempt of the enemy to escape. And oh my goodness. Okay, so we're looking at a B-11V super battleship carrier. So, the Klingons apparently are deciding to, send aid to their Lyran counterparts, and they decided to bring all of the hurt with them. So a B-11 super battleship carrier is a frankly terrifying visage, as you can see. He is equipped with a metric ton of point defense systems, if I'm recalling correctly, and, oh yeah, he carries 12 fighters. Now, granted, we carry more, but we rely very heavily on our fighters, and at the end of the day, he's still a B-11 super battleship. So we have a bit of a problem. The moment we deploy our fighters, they're immediately going to rush off for the convoy, because that's how they're set up in this mission. I forgot. Okay, this mission has just become 10 times more difficult. So the way that we would normally run this mission normally run this kind of conflict is we'd hang back, we'd launch our fighters, we'd take on their K-Swifts without too much trouble, and then we'd go for the main B-11. In this case, that's not really an option. Hi, overload the phasers, start shooting everybody. Please die. Fusion cannons are ready. So we killed most of them. So we've had to use literally every single weapon that we have at our disposal in order to actually pull that off. Let us deploy the fighters. Those fighters would have literally gone right through us like a hot knife through butter. And now our fighters have been deployed in defense mode. I don't know if they're actually going to hang around for the defense. I would like them to. But like I said, I'm fairly positive that they're about to break out for the convoy. If not, if I can keep them around me... Oh, maybe not. I was about to say if I keep them around me, they're going to die to the point defense system, but I'm not seeing any point defense systems here. So with that being the case, we actually have a halfway decent chance of doing something here. Now, of course, we have a bit of a problem at the moment in that our... Okay, good, there's no AMDs. Oh, no, there is an AMD. Where is that AMD coming from? Oh, crap, we're going to lose all of our fighters on this one. There's really not much I can do about this, because calling them back, by the time they get back here, they'd be murderized. As you can see, just the amount of point defense firepower that he has at his disposal is rather absurd. So we're trying to cause as much damage as we can with our fighters as long as they're out there, because if we can break him down and kill him, yes, it's going to be an extremely expensive repair. Oh, one survived. But at the end of the day, we just killed a B-11 super battleship who outguns us, and some of our fighters ended up living at the end of it. Oh, and it turns out we have an escort, the Doom Cut. So we actually have friends on this operation who have actually gone through and supported us on this so far. Let's get repairs underway right away, because we have a lot more of a convoy to eliminate, and we need to have weapon systems prepared to actually do that. On the bright side, we no longer need to overload our fusion cannon, since that's not going to be an important thing. But yeah, that went interestingly. Not as brilliantly as I would have hoped, but also not as terribly as I would have feared. A B-11 super battleship is nothing to turn your nose at. It is rather terrifying in its own right. Let's increase the speed of time as we zip on through. We're going to have to stop through at home in order to restock, repair, rearm all the rees, because we took a lot of damage right there. There was quite a few ship systems that were knocked offline. We've had to use several of our spare parts, and we have a lot of fighters that we got to replace. If we run into a few more of those, we're going to have a bad day. Oh crap, I didn't realize that I was targeting... How did I not realize I was targeting the wrong person? You know what? All weapons. Just shoot and kill. We're just going to go and annihilate everybody we can get our hands on. It is, after all, a convoy raid, and we're here to annihilate everybody. There shall be no mercy. And keep the repairs coming, because we do want to keep the ship in relatively good fighting trim. Okay, light damage being done so far. Gatling phase is getting involved. Not quite able to kill him. but one of our fusion cannons was able to do the job, and that's a mission complete right there. Alrighty, so we need to stop back home, but luckily this was the last tile in this group. If it flips, then we can start heading towards that little snake that goes into the corner. An upside down L? No, it would be reverse of that. Kind of a J, but not really. 324 prestige is our reward. We'll pop up here into a home protected tile. That way we'll be able to rearm, and it's back at an Empire Defense of 21. What the heck? Okay. Let's patch up the ship, get everything repaired all nice and happily. Oh, so many fighters. That's going to be 450 in fighters alone. Doesn't even matter the ship repair cost. That was brutal. But at the end of the day, we won. We won rather convincingly, I might add. So let's get everything restocked. That was expensive. That was super expensive. And pop back down here, because apparently we have to. We'll take the patrol. I thought we would have more influence over this tile because we have a planet right next door, and you'd think that, hey, the planet would trump whatever the neutral tile is, but supposedly not. Let's overload all ship systems and maximize the speed of time. Now that we're back to fully rigged out and ready for combat, we may as well set ourselves up properly for a big gun battle, because we could run into more Klingon ships as long as we're out here in this corner of the galaxy, which is one of the reasons I'd like to... There he is. One of the reasons why I'd like to finish off down here and head up to the north, because that way we can, you know, do cool things and be cool people about it. So, as you can see, though, Klingon vessels are extraordinarily well endowed with point defense systems in this era. It's not a probe, we'll find out exactly how many, but I have a good idea of how many. Yeah, look at that. That's a quad stack AMD. That right there will cut through just huge numbers of fighters, and it won't even care. It'll just keep coming and annihilate you with lots of doom, destruction, and pain. So we have to try and avoid using our fighters in situations against Klingons, just because the Klingons will kill them. On the reverse of that, though, Klingon fighters against us, well, our fighters completely annihilate them. We do not have enough point defense for this. Fire! Alright, lovely. The point defense system has been engaged, but it's not going to be nearly enough. We are going to take a couple of those hits head on, which is unfortunate. We are fighting a battleship which is fairly large and powerful, so I suppose I can sort of try and say that it's not super bad with all that, but still, we took quite a bit of a beating on that one. Let's get the repairs going. We've been cocky because we've been fighting the Lyrans over and over, and let's be frank, the Lyrans ain't nothing anymore, especially missing all sorts of point defense systems. Like, seriously, Lyrans versus Hydrans is not a fair fight, as we've been steadily experiencing. The simple fact of the matter is the Lyrans are woefully ill-equipped to actually handle a Hydran threat. The fusion cannon, frankly, does out-damage the expanding sphere generator. The Hellbore knocks out the expanding sphere generator. The fighters have no AMDs that they have to work against, and so it's just easy to kind of cut a swath through them. It's one of the reasons why this battleship carrier has worked so incredibly well, which isn't to say it wouldn't do a fantastic job against a B-11 anyway, but we've had it somewhat easy fighting the Lyrans. So we always have to keep that kind of in mind. Alright, so that was a C-10 Dreadnought annihilated by us, although we did take a couple of nasty hits on that one. I don't think it's enough for me to really need to go home, although we are one tile away from home, so it doesn't really matter. Well, we could surround this tile with defense, just to make sure that we don't lose it again, because that was irritating. All of our hard work and immediately flipped over. We actually had a similar problem in the stream on Wednesday. We managed to actually capture the planet of Kronos. See, in the stream campaign that we're doing, it's a Federation versus Klingon campaign, and we've been sieging out Kronos for the past couple of episodes, and we actually managed to neutralize the tile, and we're prepared to invade it, and the turn tipped over, and the tile instantly flipped back to Klingons at an Empire defense of like 40-something, which was rather frustrating. So a similar situation, although not quite as extreme, as this one is not as bad. An Empire defense of 20, an empty tile in the middle of nowhere. And hey, it's Lyran forces again, who can't bring anything to the fight. How sad for you. Let's bring up the forward shield. We're just going to buzzsaw right through him with no real trouble, because we have the heavy weapons in order to actually do that job. So maximize speed of time, and this is about as fast as I'm willing to go. Gives us a little bit of defense, make sure that he can't actually defend himself. He is a freighter after all. That's all he is. He's a converted frigate at this point, so we're just gonna... Well, we're gonna make him wish that he wasn't here. He's an FFTX, and goodbye. Even the long-range fusion cannons just did not care one lick at all. Just went right through. Beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. I wonder if sometime we do a Hydran campaign, we should do a fusion cannon only campaign, because I tend to rely on Hellbores. I like them better, but fusion cannons are startlingly powerful. That's a neutralized tile right there. We'll come back over here. We just want to make sure that the Klingons don't magically flip them back or something. Well, then again, it did get taken back by the Lyran, so clearly it wasn't the Klingons. Asteroid base assault. Not a huge fan, but we are being escorted by HMS Invincible. The reason why I'm not the biggest fan of the asteroid base assault is because it is a siege mission at the end of the day, and we're not the best at sieging. We do okay. The Hellbore is a solid, reliable choice for sieging out something, especially something without shields, as it works at fairly decent ranges and also damages all shields, which the AI just does not know how to deal with. And so it can be, I don't want to say easy, but it's something that is possible to be done relatively easily. But the trouble is you have to stick at range, you have to long range plink at them, it takes a lot of time, so we generally try to avoid them. However, we could deploy our fighters in a very aggressive way. The only downside to doing that is we might lose some fighters, and when you lose some fighters, well, unfortunately, upper left-hand corner, just trying to remind myself of which direction the asteroid base will be. Yeah, there it is. When you lose some fighters, you have to go back home and get them all repaired and rearmed, and it's, well, takes a while. So we are getting information from our friendly on the other side of the asteroid. That's why we were able to see him through the asteroid. Normally that's not the case. Normally it breaks sight for you. But he is now coming towards us. He has a ton of point defense systems, and we're going to ignore them, basically, as soon as he gets in close enough to us. So his fighter's not really all that good. He's only got 2 of them, and, well, we have more. Oh, you're not dead. That is truly... Oh, wait, because all of my weapons are still set to normal. We did, however, manage to knock out pretty much every single bit of his ship. So, yeah, he's not long for this world. Am I going to get to him first? Yes. Okay, lovely. Let's head toward the asteroid base now. Start getting work done. No point in overloading the Hellbores at this point because we need them to be somewhat loose and easily powered so that they can be effective at long range. Hellbores starting to charge nice and slowly. Ooh, is the phaser capacitor not yet fully charged? Doesn't look like it. So slow down. Make sure that that thing gets fully charged so the Hellbores can start charging properly. We do, of course, want to start shelling the crap out of them and making it so that they give up. Lovely. 12 damage. We can get to a range of about 15 before we really have to start worrying. Although if he doesn't shoot at me, that may be fine. Like, are you going to open fire or something at this point? There he goes. I was wondering when that was going to happen. Took him a little while. Let's just slow down nice and gently. We're gonna... Oh, wait, no, we can get to a range of 8, can't we? Well, we're... Whoops, didn't want to do that. Yeah, really didn't want to do that. All stop just so we have some defense while we recharge. Well, mainly the phaser capacitor, which is just a massive power drain on us. That phaser capacitor takes a ridiculous amount of charge. My goal at this point, I suppose, is to get nice and close to him. That way I can deploy my fighters, and they will go in and rip through this without too much trouble. 30 damage and more building up. As long as he keeps plinking away, maybe he'll actually distract some fire. I'm really surprised you're not shooting a little bit more at me, man. So let's go send in the fighters. Let's send in... No, we'll send them all in. So the fighters deployed to go try and kill this. They should do it in relatively short order. I mean, look at that gorgeous sight. And then they get in close with the Gatling phasers. Slow down the speed of time. 1, 2. Oh, no, I didn't get them all. So we're going to lose some of them, which is a tad unfortunate. Because now we'll have to go back home and restock, which I don't want to have to do. I'm assuming some of the fighters got destroyed when that asteroid exploded. 136 prestige is our reward for a job well done. Empire defense is down to 11. It was down to 0. Oh, great. We've managed to stumble our way into an anomaly mission, which is very unfortunate, although perhaps fortunate depending on our opponent. Because if it's the right opponent, we can actually use fighters and just throw everything we have right into their teeth. And if we do that, then we potentially could win while they're completely helpless. But that, of course, depends on our opponent. If our opponent is Klingon and has an absolute metric ton of AMDs, like him, this is going to be painful on all levels. Okay, it's a B-10 battleship. Send to the probe. Here's the plan. The plan is to 4 and 2. The plan is also to reinforce the forward shield because we're about to get shot at by disruptors and we don't want that to happen. And there goes our power. The anomaly mission. Why do you exist? No, seriously, why do you exist? So the problem with this mission is that randomly and occasionally an anomaly will pop up and turn off all of our power. As you see, this is not fun. Because now we're stuck and we can't do anything. Now our powers come back, and half of our weapons don't work, and we are down a whole ton of power on the ship already. Oh, by the way, we also have a little bit of a denting, apparently? How did that get broken? Must be sabotage. So we know what locations are on the ship, and I'm actually going to prepare a marine assault. I want to knock the anti-missile defense system out. And anything else that I need to kill? No, I don't, because I'm not actually using missiles, so it doesn't really matter. So we'd like to destroy their AMD, if at all possible. If we can do that, our fighters can operate with impunity. Because then, no AMD, all he's got is the standard defenses, and we can just annihilate him. That is, of course, if we manage to do okay here. Fire everything! Hi, send to the Marines. Oh, that was clever of you, and I turned stupidly into them. Drop on mine. More power. Get me going. I want to protect myself as best as I can. In order to do that, I need to get going quickly. Let's get repairs continuing, because we took a pretty nasty amount of hitting on that one. So we are going to just keep up as much phaser fire as we can. Our engines are offline, and now we're stuck here. That's a problem. In fact, I'm going to come over here and say, all phasers may engage any target, anytime, anywhere. We have no power in the phaser capacitor. This is going to suck. Oh, we could grab some of them. All of them? All of them. Wow, that's impressive. Not gonna lie. I don't have any power, so I can't charge my transporters, which would be lovely if I could send another hit-and-run team, because I really want to knock out that AMD. If I can knock out that AMD, my fighters can operate freely, and they can annihilate him. Without that, I'm kind of... No, I'm not boned, but I am stuck. And we desperately need the phaser capacitor to come back online. Please let me go. You gosh darn tyrant of an anomaly. Yeah, we're gonna die. Oh god, we're not gonna die, but it's gonna suck. We're about to take damages that we don't want to take. We have a lot of tractor moves, holy crap. Okay, the engines are back online. Our point defense system can now start re-engaging once again, blasting at everything and everyone and everywhere. So, yeah, that's gonna help a little bit. So we've lost 2 shields, but we are still intact. Transporting Marines on over, and that should work out okay. Still haven't managed to annihilate our target, which we'd really very much like to do. That's the anomaly, by the way, that is causing all levels of pain right now in my life. Slow down, more power to forward shield. I do need a little bit of maneuverability out of the ship. Hey, fusion cannons are about ready to go. Hey, the fusion cannons almost got a hole through. Come on, more damage, just a little bit more damage. Penetrate, and Marines. Come on, Marines. This AMD? Oh, is it? No, not entirely. So they've announced that they've broken part of it, but they haven't killed all of it. Is that going to have to be enough? Maybe. Hit and run target has been completely destroyed. Alright, all fighters go. 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 Full on attack. Just blitz this guy with everything you've got. Because we need to move quickly to make that happen. Whew. Yeah, you see, once the AMD is down, I think I lost a fighter squadron. Once the AMD is down, Klingon ships, very vulnerable. Just like everybody else. Like the entirety of the entire Lyran Navy. Incredibly vulnerable. Exactly the sort of target we want to go for. 94, I don't care. Tile taken, thank you. Let's... Oh, wait, no, we've still got to go here. Cav raid? I don't dare. It's going to be against Klingons, it's going to be painful, and I need to prepare and rearm and come back at it with a little bit more firepower. 185 plus 23 damage on us, plus some spare parts. We used a fair bit of Marines on a mission that we don't normally do, but hey, if it hurts, it works. If it works, it hurts. Yeah, something. Yeah, we lost a whole bunch of fighters on this one just through random explosions and sending them on rougher missions. Makes it a little bit more expensive, but we are re-equipped and complemented and ready to rock and roll. So let's... I think I hit patrol, and I'm not sure. I hope I did, because I prefer the patrol rather than the convoy raid. Good. Lovely. Fortunately, it's against Klingons again, and I really don't want to be fighting Klingons. We got to get done with this end of the galaxy so we can immediately move to take on the rest of the Lyrans, because I'm not interested in fighting the Klingons. I'm not planning for that. Although, if I was fighting the Klingons as the primary antagonist, I would have probably have picked... Oh, great, it's you again. Hi, B-11 super battleship, choose. If I were going to be fighting the Klingons as a straight-up standard invasion Hydrons versus Klingons, I think I would stick to a heavy bombardment cruiser, because then I could play to the strengths of the Lyrans in that situation. After all, you can't really use fighters against the Klingons because they're ridiculous about what they do to you. Probe, please. And also, La Marines. La Marines must kill that. that incredibly dangerous and terrifying piece of equipment right there. That is the AMD that will eliminate and kill all of my fighters. Now, on the bright side, and this is a bright side, I'm not going to suffer random shutdowns for no apparent reason. So there's that going for us. Drop a mine. Let's see if he has some fun with that. All weapons are selected. All weapons are overloaded, right? Yes, please? Did I? I did overload the ones that were important to overload. Holy crap! Sand of the Marines. They said they got the target, but they only broke part of it. That's somewhat of an irritating thing when they say target eliminated and they don't actually get it. Hi, defensive phasers, shoot everybody. Just kill them all. I want them all dead. This one must die, thank you. Okay, we need to get some distance now in here. We've managed to damage his AMD, but we haven't broken it to any serious extent at this point. It's not down, which is what they called, but it's not. We're going to try and get some distance in here. We'll try and go around the mine, drop another mine, just to sort of build up a little bit of a defense here. Our aft shield is almost down. We have learned that the B-11s are fantastic at long-range phaser overwhelming. He's got like 19 phaser ones or something like that, and so he can blast at you with all of them. And even if he only does 1 damage from all of them, it's still 19 damage, and it still will bleed through. Okay, that seemed to push him away. He isn't a huge fan of that one. So we need to buy a little time to get our systems reset up, reactivated, repowered, ready to engage. Oh, also, good opportunity here to go pick off his K-Swift. Because once we take that out, he'll no longer have that little cavalry force that can get in and hurt us from multiple sides, as it's very painful. Hello. I have overloaded phasers, I hope? Yeah, okay, that worked. So his K-Swifts are off the board. Now it's just me and you and my minefield, apparently. So we need to keep the repairs going. We need to reset our phaser weapons. Our phaser capacitor is taking forever to recharge, and we are slowly being whittled down on a very important shield. It's our only forward shield that is still actually working properly, so that's what makes it so important. In case you were wondering, we are going to be able to knock down his shield simply by virtue of the Hellbores, but the moment he shoots at us... Oh, crap. I need you to make that turn a little bit tighter. I've got to do it. Okay, that did some damage. Why am I slowing down? Yeah, that's what I was worried about. Ooh, that hurt a lot more than I thought it was going to. Alright, fighters, I can't risk it any longer. Just go. Yes, you're going to die, but it's got to be done. I've got to get them to do something in this case. So my strategy of trying to get in close with him, knock out his AMD, that did not work as intended. And we are now suffering quite heavily for it, as the B-11 super battleship really does a number on us. Luckily, our fighters can get in there, dealing absolutely metric tons of damage. There were too many fighters for his AMD to actually handle, and it's probably on the reload. And here it goes. All of our fighter squadrons technically survived, although we got to go back home for repairs. Oh, fighting B-11 battleships is a difficult prospect, but if you can pull it off, you get kudos, I suppose. I was about to come up with some sort of reward, but really, no. You get some prestige, but we're already almost at 2,000. There we go. Tile taken. Or tile neutralized at the very least. Supply, 694 plus 23 is exactly what kind of damage he did to us. And then he managed to blow up a pretty decent number of fighters. The real painful thing for the fighters is that when he dies, he has a massive explosion radius and amount of damage that he does, which is just incredibly painful. So we'll just restock the ship once again, but we are still in a very, very high level of having cash. But that's going to do it for today's episode. I've been Tarek. If you like what you've been seeing, hit that like button and subscribe. If you want to see a notification every time I post one of these videos, press that little bell icon, leave a comment, and I will see you all in the next episode.